Hey, good morning. Welcome to the channel, Old Man Life Thoughts and Opinions. Hey, so it's the 26th of August. It's about 6:45 in the morning. I just read this article this morning as I was getting ready to go out and work out for a little bit, but I wanted to jump on here before and do this video and get it out to y'all. And this article just came out yesterday, 25th of August, and this is in reference, as the thumbnail and title suggested, it is in reference to the Sig Sauer M18 pistol. And I got my iPad in hand right here, and there's your title: Air Force Global Strike Command clears M18 pistols, return to duty. But if you remember, you can go back and watch this video. I'll link it up here, that I did, I don't know, a month or so ago, saying what my prediction was going to be of this inspection the Air Force did with a stand down of all their pistols. Y'all can go back and watch this video and then pay attention to what's in this article. So this is Air Force. I'm just going to go through. I'm reading my iPad here, and I'm just going to go through some of these things through the article, and I'll link the article down below in the description. Y'all can go check it out for yourselves. And this article is written by the Stars and Stripes. Stars and Stripes is a news service all geared around the military. And this one is written by Corey Dickstein. That's a weird last name. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, that's who it was written by. So it says the Air Force Global Strike Command is returning the M18 pistol to duty after pausing the use of the firearm for more than a month following the shooting death of a security force airman. We're all familiar with that story. And there's still no definitive outcome on exactly what happened, but we know that airman was charged. Another airman was charged with three charges, and that's still the investigation, and the outcome is still pending to be shared with us, if it ever will be. But General Thomas Busser, who leads the Global Strike Command, signed off on the return of duty for most of the command's 6-hour made sidearms after a week-long inspection of all its 7,970 M18 pistols. The command said in a statement, the general determined the vast majority of the guns were safe to return to duty. Vast majority. And then he states, it is paramount that our airmen trust their weapon system. This thorough inspection ensures the M18s in our inventory are in optimal working order, providing our security forces defenders with safe, reliable, and effective systems to accomplish their mission. The stand down for this pistol in the Air Force was all sparked by the tragic death of the airmen. We're all familiar with that. But this is interesting too, is it says investigators were initially concerned an M18 had discharged without its trigger being pulled, a rare occurrence known as an uncommanded discharge. So why was they initially concerned? A lot of people will jump in here and say, well, that's probably why the other airman was charged with involuntary manslaughter. He probably used that as an excuse, saying it just went off and it was the other airman's gun. Well, they wouldn't have stood down the whole Air Force to inspect all their weapons for that. I'm just saying that. But y'all can go back and watch this video. I kind of talk about all that in there. Here's another interesting piece of this article in here. It says officials also said a thorough review of M18 discharges across Global Strike Command showed none had occurred without a trigger pull. I mean, how many are they having? Across the Global Strike Command, they had to investigate this. But it says it's not due. It didn't occur without a trigger pull. That's interesting too. But keep that in mind. The inspection of the M18s later expanded to all the Air Force's about 125,000 M18 pistols. Did find issues with some of its sidearms. Inspections found problems with 191 of the command's M18s, most of which were problems with component wear. That's in quotation marks. Component wear, according to the Air Force. Y'all go back and watch this video that I said what they were going to say about this incident and about inspecting this sidearm. Most of the issues were related to the wear on the M18 safety levers on their striker assemblies and on their sears. Striker assemblies are a spring-loaded mechanism to impact the cartridge prior to fire the weapon, and sears hold back the striker until the trigger pull. Weapons exhibiting these discrepancies were immediately tagged and are undergoing necessary repairs. Go back to that video. Watch what I said about it, right? The command is adding enhanced inspection procedures for its M18 inventory, which will include new inspection criteria of those parts of the M18 found to wear the fastest. By incorporating these added measures, we assess that any issues found with the safety lever, striker assembly, and sear will be identified during semi-annual and annual inspections. As we execute M18 inspections in the future, we will be taking a particular interest in these components to ensure these methods address the issue we found and make adjustments as needed. Now, see, back to that video again. That's interesting because they've always been under semi-annual and annual inspection, and all those components have always been in the criteria for inspection and detailed inspections. I told you they weren't going to blame the pistol. They won't do it. They'll say, oh, it's component wear. The inspections need to be had. I go back and watch that video. The command is also enlisting the top officers and enlisted leaders in its security forces squadron to brief airmen on the findings of the M18 inspections, introduce them to new enhanced inspections, and reinforce basic weapon safety, including muzzle discipline, according to the Air Force. Now, why would you have to do that if there's no problem with the pistol? If the pistol didn't fail and you didn't have a concern with the pistol failing, why would you have to do all that, introduce to new enhanced inspections? Because it was pretty enhanced before, the criteria, and reinforce basic weapon safety, including muzzle discipline. If you had a problem with muzzle discipline and you have to retrain your whole entire Air Force reinforcement training, you got more than a training problem. You got a leadership problem, in my opinion. Now, it says, when we see a potential issue, we have a responsibility to our airmen and the American public to evaluate, find any discrepancies, and act on them. I totally agree with that, and they should, right? We're entrusting those leaders with our sons and daughters, our brothers and sisters, our mother and fathers, our aunts and uncles, our family, right? We're entrusting them. And so, yeah, that's spot on. They should. But there's also something they're not telling us in there, because if there wasn't an issue, because they're saying there wasn't an issue with it, but we've done all these things and this is what we're doing to correct it. And we're enhancing the inspection because, well, there wasn't an issue, but we're enhancing it anyway. And we're not saying there was a problem, but here's a problem. But it was only component wear. Well, component wear should have been caught in the semi-annual and annual inspections anyway. Now people are going to jump in the comment section and say, well, that's why they're going and enhancing the inspection. The inspection is already there. There's already semi-annual and annual inspections, I've said in this video before. But anyway, they didn't find, here's the bottom line, they didn't find any problems, supposedly, with the M18 at fault, that that's going to be that's going all over YouTube, that the 320 P320 is failing, the M18 is failing, but we've seen all those other videos. Anyway, so I wanted to share that with y'all, get that out to you. It's linked below. Y'all check it out. Form your own opinion and thoughts, and then check out the previous video if you didn't watch it, and then watch this again, and it'll kind of all come together for you. All right, y'all take care. God bless. Hope you enjoy it.